felt so real.
Immersive, right? Yeah.
It's like you're drawn into the scene and you're like, it's real life. And you're just floating through the river and witnessing all the craziness happening. It was really good.
Yes.
It was really interactive. Yeah.
Papa, how was it?
And mini,
You were so excited to see Minnie?
Yes.
Yes.
And Minnie's coming.
How about it was the pirate, right?
Yeah,
Jack Sparrow, right?
You're right.
It was good.
Good.
You loved it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, say hi everyone.
Hi.
Yes, okay. Welcome to The Thought Card, a podcast about travel and money, where planning, saving, and creativity leads to affording travel, building wealth, and paying off debt. We are the Financially Savvy Travelers. Hey, Financially Savvy Travelers, welcome back to another episode of the Thought Card podcast. I am Danielle Corbett, and as always, I am so thrilled that you're listening and tuning in to another episode. So this is part 2 of our series with Walt Disney World. I know. Thank you, Walt Disney World, for partnering with us. We are very excited. Today's conversation is going to build off of the last conversation we had, which was all about planning a family vacation to Walt Disney World when you have little ones. Today, we're building on that because I know that there are a lot of families out there who are very interested in multi-generational Disney trips. And what that looks like could be you, of course, and your little one, but also perhaps inviting your aunts, your uncles, or the grandparents, older generations as well. So how do you plan a vacation when you have multiple generations who have multiple different types of interest, who may have different dietary needs and mobility considerations, right? There's a lot to consider when you are planning a multi-generational vacation. And I'm going to be breaking down my best tips because we go on multi-gen trips to Disney World every year with our family. So I have lots of ideas to share with you. Now, as I mentioned, this episode is part of a 3-part series in partnership with Walt Disney World. We're thrilled to have them as a sponsor of today's podcast. And I want to always point you over to DisneyWorld.com for planning your Disney World vacation. So Walt Disney World Resort is a world-class entertainment and recreation destination featuring 4 of the most popular theme parks from around the globe. They have 2 thrilling water parks, nearly 29,000 hotel rooms, a sports complex, 4 golf courses, and Disney Springs, a metropolis of shopping, dining, and entertainment. Since 1971, Walt Disney World has focused on delivering legendary guest service and one-of-a-kind experiences that make it the largest and the most visited park destination in the world, where families can create these magical memories together. You can visit DisneyWorld.com to start planning your vacation today. And all the links mentioned in this episode will be as well in the episode description. So with all of that being said, let's talk about how we can plan these epic, amazing, magical experiences to Walt Disney World that all generations in your family will enjoy together. Okay, so before the fun starts, I always recommend sitting down as a family unit and discussing everything related to your trip. Who is going to cover what? What will each person or family be responsible for? If there are any budget constraints, be upfront about it and be honest about it and put it on the table and have this honest, open conversation. Being open and honest about these details ensures that everyone is on the same page and they are ready to have an enjoyable, stress-free family vacation, right? So we as a family, we have lots of different types of planning meetings, and not every planning meeting has to be super stuffy, sit down with pen and paper. Sometimes we talk about our Disney aspirations while at the dinner table, and we're kind of like, make it fun and do like a guessing game. Like, hey, can you guess like my top favorite restaurant at Epcot, for example? And we talk about like that experience and we kind of say, oh, maybe we want to try something different next year. Or maybe we're like, nope, that's a classic. We're always going to do that one. Like it doesn't have to be sit down conversations where you're at the computer or where you have a notebook and pen and paper. It can be something that's more casual, and it can be a series of conversations. It could be a series of chats, but it is very important to come up with a game plan of what you're going to do and who is responsible for what. So for example, our families, when we are traveling with my mother-in-law, for example, like we know that like our family unit, we cover our family expenses. They cover their family expenses. Like that is 100% upfront. We know that each family is responsible for their own. And again, everyone has clear expectations. So there's no miscommunication. There's no, false expectations. Communication is key. And it's one of the first things I always say when you're planning a multi-generational family vacation. Keep the conversation going, and it may look like multiple conversations over the course of your planning time. Next, I would recommend if you are familiar with Disney World, you have been multiple times, then take the lead on planning this vacation. So for example, for our recent March vacation, we were there for a couple of reasons, a couple things. It was baby Kay's 3-year-old birthday. He was turning 3, so that was exciting. We were also there to experience the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival as well. So of course, I have gone to Disney so many times, and my mom, on the other hand, it was her first time as well. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be the planner. I'm going to take the lead on planning this family vacation. I had the support of my mother-in-law who helps me. She's very familiar with Disney as well. She's been taking Kyle, since he was a little kid. So I had like a secondary opinion, but I took the lead. I decided, you know what? I'm more familiar with Disney. I'm going to take the lead in this vacation planning. And I recommend that. I recommend having a lead to be the person to do the bookings, the person to get you organized, to kind of rally everyone together. And it may be helpful for you to have like a secondary person there. So when I'm typically traveling, for example, we're doing Disney with our regular family vacations with is usually my mother-in-law, like my husband takes the lead on logistics. So he is more of like, okay, what parks we're going to go to. He is like, okay, what park hopper options. He does all of the different restaurant bookings. Like he takes the lead on that. And then, he comes in and asks us our opinions. And he's like, hey, I'm thinking about this, thinking about that. We have a conversation, make sure everyone is on the same page. But I do think that having a planner, and if that planner is you, be the planner, take the lead. Everyone is going to appreciate you taking the lead on this. And again, as long as you're roping them in the conversation, roping them in the process, I think you will have a great stress-free time, okay? I also feel like being the planner when you are more familiar with Disney gives your family members who are less familiar an opportunity to learn the ropes in a stress-free environment there. So because I helped plan this March trip with my mom, now I feel like she now understands Disney. She's been there. She sees why we made certain decisions, the benefits of that. And next time she may want to have a bigger say, or she may want to be more involved in the planning process. So I do think give them the time and space to kind of learn the ropes in a stressor environment. So again, take the lead, do the planning. It will be much easier for you and also for them as they're learning the ropes. Okay, my third tip here is your rooming and arrangements. So as you're trying to figure out what your Walt Disney World vacation is going to look like, it's important to consider, are you going to stay on property or are you going to stay off property? Now, we have done both, and every trip is different. So every trip, depending on how long you're going to stay, what you're looking for, you may decide, you know what, staying on property makes sense. It's the best decision for you. For our longer family vacations, staying on property for us is a no-brainer. Anything above 4 or 5 days, we're going to stay on property. We have our go-tos, our favorites. So we are definitely team stay on property. But again, like I mentioned, it just depends on what type of vacation you're having, and the type of Disney property also comes into question too, because when you're traveling with a large family, you may decide to stay in a villa, or you may decide to stay in a suite, for example, or you can say, okay, we're just going to have multiple hotel rooms at our Disney resort, right? So that's exactly what we do. So we typically stay at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort, and we just get 2 individual rooms. And the key here is we ask for a connecting room. So a couple of months before our actual vacation, typically we try to do it like 60 days in advance. We just like to do it early, but we call the resort and we ask them, hey, listen, we're coming together as a family. We have 2 different rooms. Is it possible for us to have a connecting room together? And there's no promises that they can honor your request, but for all the times that we've requested, we've always gotten our connecting rooms. And I love this so much for a multi-generational family vacation, because that means that your family doesn't have to go outside, like open the room door and go outside to walk to your other family members' rooms. Everything is connected. So with having like a toddler and a baby, like baby K, love that. He could literally just like, open the door and then go see grandma, go see Mima very, very easily without stepping outside, and everything was connected. So I do love that. Again, there's a lot of different options when it comes to your room arrangements. You could definitely stay at a spacious villa. You could get a suite for more breathing room, or you can get individual rooms. Whatever floats your boat, I think just you have to do what's right for you. Now, with that being said, let's talk about some etiquette here, because just because you have connecting rooms together and you guys are super close doesn't mean that you are going to not respect each other. So with that being said, respect each other's privacy. And if you're all together in a room, for example, clean up after yourself. It's a shared space. Just be mindful of that. Always knock before entering someone else's room or entering someone else's space. These are little, I understand that, but it does make a big difference. When you're courteous and you're respectful, everyone understands and has their boundaries. And it just, again, sometimes you just need your space. Like you just want to have like your downtime, and everyone deserves that. This is, as much as it is your vacation, it's their vacation as well. So I am always thinking about, okay, respectfulness, courteousness, cleaning up after ourselves, sharing our space, so no one has any complaints in that regards, right? Also, because, we have a little one and everyone enjoys taking baby K a bath, I'm always mindful about sharing responsibilities and not burdening one person with an enormous amount of responsibility when it comes to, let's say, like taking care of the kids, for example. So here's a really good example. So for example, like baby K, he enjoys bat time, and the grandparents really do enjoy bat time with him. It's their tradition. They love it. They do it not only when they're on vacation, but also when they're home. But I also understand that we're going to be together for the next 7 days, and every night, and expecting for my in-laws to take baby K a bath is just not fair, right? So I always, like, if they are enthusiastic about doing bath time with baby K, of course, that gives, us a little bit of a breathing room. But I also say, hey, like, why don't you guys go relax, go hang out by the pool? Like, we're going to just, take a little bit of time and take him a bath, so that they have time for themselves too, right? Like the grandparents have time for themselves. Let me tell you, taking the grandparents with you on your Disney vacation is a hack in itself. But I'm always respectful and mindful, and I always want them to have a great time. So whenever possible, taking turns, just being mindful of that. It's fair, and I think it makes everyone just so much more happy, where everyone has their time to bond and connect, and also time to just like enjoy as well. So those are my tips for room arrangements. A couple things that we talked about here is, there's different types of arrangements when it comes to whether it's a suite or a villa or just booking individual rooms. Definitely request connecting rooms if possible. It may be something that they can accommodate, so just be mindful of that. It's a request, and the Disney cast members do their best to honor request. And then also just be mindful of privacy and cleaning up after yourselves and just good etiquette. Because this is a family vacation. As much as it is your vacation, it's theirs as well. Okay. So my next tip here is to know everyone's preferences. So as you're talking about having these open and honest conversations about what you expect and want out of your Disney vacation, this is a good time to just talk about interests, talk about dislikes, talk about preferences. The more that you know, the more that you can understand and you can curtail any issues if anything comes up. Like, you know what they like, what they dislike, and you are going to try your best to accommodate. And then sometimes you might not know something about someone until you actually get to Disney and you're like, oh, I didn't know this. So for example, my mother-in-law, she was very apprehensive about the Skyliner. This never came up for us because we have never stayed at a resort with Skyliner access. So when we got to the Caribbean Beach Resort with the Skyliner access on day one, we're like, oh, okay, let's, grab the Skyliner. And she mentioned that, with the height thing, it's a little bit, it's not her favorite. And she was a little bit apprehensive. So, I didn't push her. I said, hey, do you want to try it? She said, sure, let's try it. So we tried it and she actually really enjoyed it. It was better than expected. And that became our mode of transportation when we were going to the parks, some of the parks. So that was really nice. And again, it's like one of those things where it's like, now I know that she has this, I think it's a lot better now, but I didn't know that she wasn't really a big fan of the Skyliner back then, but now she really likes it. So just small little things can make a very big difference. And for us, we were ready to take the bus, we're always ready to take a bus. So it's easy to accommodate when you know what their interests and dislikes are. Okay. So I think that's important. I think when it comes to preferences, this is where things like allergies and dietary restrictions and mobility needs definitely comes into play. So definitely understanding what everyone needs, what could be done to accommodate those needs. All those things are very, very, very important. So make sure you have that list and you know what everyone in your party needs for a wonderful vacation. Speaking of needs and, allergies and dietary mobility and all that sort of thing, I think also accessibility, that of course is a big topic of conversation. Accessibility and comfort in particular. So there are lots of mobility options for folks who are going to Disney World. You have the wheelchairs and the electronic conveyance vehicles, the ECVs, that can be rented at all the Disney parks, providing a convenient way to navigate the parks. And for guests who need additional assistance, they have the Disability Access Services, or the DAS. That's designed to minimize the physical strain of waiting in lines. It's important to note, though, that the registration process for the DAS has been updated. So it's a very good idea for everyone to just do your research to make sure that you're current, that you understand what the current requirements are before your visit. But yes, there are mobility options. There are lots of ways that Disney accommodates that. Now, for example, if you're staying on Disney property, you'll find that there are wheelchair and hearing accessible rooms available that are thoughtfully designed to accommodate your various needs. And these rooms often include the roll-in showers and visual alarm clocks. So again, if you have someone in your party who needs additional help and additional assistance, it's important to keep that in mind, to prep ahead of time, to place those calls, look at what's out there, what the options are, so you can have a comfortable and accessible vacation with everyone's needs covered. Okay, now let's talk about this is more of the nitty gritty, when you're at the parks and kind of coming up with your game plan of how are you going to navigate the parks and enjoy the parks. I really think it's important to start some days later. So a lot of families who go to Disney are very much so we're going to start at rope drop, which is as soon as the parks open. Or again, if you are someone who is staying on Disney property, as soon as that 30-minute mark before everyone else goes in, you have that green light to go, you're there. And very much so, we are very much so a rope drop family for sure. But I will say that not every day has to be a early morning day for your family. Start some days later to accommodate everyone's needs and ensure each family member feels their best, right? So much of our Disney vacation is not only like, enjoying the amenities, enjoying the attractions, but there's walking, there is making sure that you feel rested, that you can put those steps in. You want to be able to like experience it all, right? So it's important for us to be hydrated, for us to feel our best, get good night's sleep, all those sort of things, right? So some people may say, you know what, I want to head to the gym for a quick workout before heading to the parks, or I want to make sure I go sit down and go to the food court and get breakfast. Or maybe I need some time to catch up on work before heading out, right? There are things to consider, and not every single day has to be a start as soon as rope drop happens, right? And I think for us, for this last trip that we did, where it was my mom, baby K, my mother-in-law, like we definitely took it a lot easier. We actually didn't do any rope drop days. We were definitely like taking a slower pace. We wanted to make sure my mom felt comfortable, felt good. She felt rested. She wanted to work out. We always wanted to have breakfast together as a family. All of those things, like we took the extra time to rest and recharge, especially if we knew we had like a really long day ahead. The name of the game for multi-generational Disney vacations is flexibility. Communication, of course, and also flexibility is key, because some days you may definitely want to be a go, go, go kind of day. And then there's other days that you may want to take a more relaxed approach. And taking a more relaxed approach can set a positive tone for the day, making the whole experience more enjoyable. With that being said, like also not every single day has to be a park day. Don't forget to put into your, built into your vacation to have those, we call them pool days, where you're just planning on perhaps like hanging by the pool, or maybe you're going to one of the water parks, or just spending the day at Disney Springs or the evening at Disney Springs, and you're kind of like sleeping in that day. Like this is your vacation, and you get to craft and create this experience, whatever that looks like for you, or whatever you want that to look like for you. And every day does not have to always look the same. And like I mentioned, you can definitely start some days later. With that being said, while I'm talking about, kind of timing and all of that, I do think it's also important to kind of have a group system too, if possible, because there are some family members, for example, who may be ready to head out early and they're ready to go and they want to be at Animal Kingdom at rope drop so that they can get to the Avatar Flight of Passage. They could sit online and they could get that ride, the first thing that they do, right? But then there may be another part of your family who's like, you know what, we want to have breakfast. We want to sit by the pool. We kind of want to like get to Animal Kingdom at, let's say, 10:30 or 11, right? In this situation, no worries. Like we can just split up and we could have one group do one thing or another group do another thing. Like we could split up into 2, 3, 4, however many members want to do similar things. So I think that really does give everyone the chance to do what they want to do. And for us, a lot of times that looks like, okay, me and my husband and my sister-in-law, we all group up and we are going to do the thrill rides in the morning. And while the grandparents and baby K are doing more of the kiddie rides in the morning, and we plan to have lunch together. And we like our sit down restaurants. So we do our like sit down meals and we just kind of like bond there, have great food. And now we, after lunch, we're all together again and we kind of plan our day all together at that time as well. So I think those two tips go kind of hand in hand where, yes, of course, some days will be later starts, but also don't be afraid to team up and group up and take your group and do the things that you want to do. And then the other group can do other things. And you could always meet up for lunch, regroup later in the morning, regroup later in the evening. All of this is just very easy to do. Always, like a packing list in terms of things you need to bring with you. I think it's really important to bring a portable charger with you so you always can stay connected and be able to like just text your family members, call them if need be. Because again, you might be taking a group approach and you may not all be together all the time during our Disney vacation. And that's totally fine. Totally fine. Okay, so this one I think is especially important for us parents to hear because it can be kind of sometimes difficult. But hear me out. Hear me out. My next step is to let the grandparents enjoy spoiling the kids. Or if that's you, like if you want to spoil the kids, like by all means, but spoiling the kids. Let's have an honest conversation about this. Like for me, we have like a miscellaneous like souvenirs budget that we have for baby K. And the grandparents love to have their budget for baby K, which sometimes feels unlimited, which I love that for them. Like, I love that. So I think it's important to let the grandparents spoil their grandkids. Like, there's something truly special about the bonds between grandparents and grandchildren. And a big part of that connection comes from the joy of giving, whether they're buying them toys or gifting them bubble blowers or picking out colorful sunglasses for those sunny park days. These little indulgences can create lasting memories, and it brings grandparents so much joy to shower their grandkids with love and affection. And, it gives the grandparents this chance to engage and share in the fun. And it gives them something tangible to express their affection and their love. And oftentimes, I'm always appreciative when one of our parents gift baby K a gift. Sometimes I'm like, okay, guys, like the living room is so full of toys. We have no more space for another toy. But I do understand that this is something that they really want to do and that baby K wants it. He wants it. They want it. And when I'm on vacation, I just don't fight it. I try not to fight it at all. I understand every new toy, every new playful accessory becomes their token of their love. And seeing their grandkids light up with joy is really priceless. Just as, for me, when I gift baby K something, like I love seeing his reaction. I love seeing all of that. So I think that you have to kind of know that when you go to Disney World, that the grandparents are going to have gifts for the kids ready. And I think as parents, I personally say, let them enjoy this moment. And yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Okay. Now, in the last episode, I mentioned rider swap very briefly, and I wanted to expand upon that today. So Disney has a rider swap program that honestly, I never heard about this until very recently, and it's been around. So this is one of those things where it's like you can go to Disney so often and still there be amenities and features that you may be missing out on that you maybe have never heard about before. So Rider Swap is definitely one of the ones that it's on our radar now. And I'm really looking forward to giving it a shot for upcoming Disney trip this summer. So if you're like us, like we have a toddler who, of course, is not allowed in all the rides. But, for us, we love our thrill rides. We love our exhilarating rides. And oftentimes you have families who kind of have to split into two, where you have one part of your family is going to go on a ride and the other family is kind of like waiting outside, and not everyone can go, or they can feel that they can go at the same time. But here's the thing though. So Disney's rider swap program is the perfect solution for families who want to make the most of their visit, because this program allows adults to wait with the non-riding child while the other adults enjoy the ride. So pretty much everyone goes together on the line. And as one group of adults are able to ride the ride, the other group with the non-riding child is going to kind of sit back online. And then when they get back, they just swap places, allowing the adults that are waiting to hop on without losing their place in line. So to take advantage of this rider swap program, all you have to do is ask a cast member about it at the start of the attraction. Just ask, hey, we want to do the rider swap program. Can you just kind of walk us through what that looks like? And they'll let you know what that looks like for that ride. And this is super convenient. It saves you a lot of time. And everyone can enjoy the parks. Again, like I mentioned, before I knew about the rider swap, half of our group would have to stay outside and wait for us to come back. And then they're online waiting again, doing their own wait lines. And now we can all wait together. And now you have one group goes. And then when they're done, you swap out and the baby is fine and the babies can stay. And everybody gets to enjoy the ride together. That is I can't believe I did not know about this earlier. It is something out there I want you all to know about, and definitely take advantage of this. Ask the cast members about the program. And I think you find it super easy and it'll save you a lot on those wait times. Alrighty, financially savvy travelers, there are a few more tips that I have for you. I encourage you to check out my blog at thoughtcard.com if you want to read the entire post with the additional tips that I would share with multi-generational families that are going to Disney World. So moral of the story, it's a lot easier than you think. And again, as you get more practice doing this, you will find tips and tricks that work best for you and your family. Adopt those and again, go out there and create your own experiences. Now, I hope you enjoyed this episode because in the next episode, we're going to be talking all about the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival, how much fun it is, and just all the things and experiences that you can have. So definitely you want to stay tuned for that. I also have created a Spotify playlist all on my Disney tips, my Disney audio vlogs and experiences. Is it audio vlogs? Is that the correct term? Audio diaries. There we go, right? So our different audio diaries, all the episodes that I've ever created about Disney World are going to be right there all in one place. So definitely head to the episode description to get the link to that Spotify playlist. A big thanks again to Walt Disney World for partnering with me on this episode. You can visit disneyworld.com to begin planning your own vacation to Walt Disney World. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode.
And so our journey comes to an end.
Oh, our journey is coming to an end. But ours continues.
Grab hold of your dreams and make them come true.
Thank you for taking me, bringing me here. This is so beautiful.
Let go.